I knew the Texans had a strong defense. Players like Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter were bound to make some plays, but their secondary, that's where they really surprised me. Derek Stingley Jr. might just be the best corner in football right now, or at least he's playing like it. Sure, Patrick Surtain is incredible and had a historic season, but Stingley? He's a playmaker. He's the definition of a ball hawk. In this game, he intercepted Justin Herbert twice. To put that in perspective, Herbert had thrown just 3 picks all season, and then Stingley took away 2 in one game. That's crazy. And it wasn't just Stingley. Cameron Bullock has been a huge part of the Texans' ability to force turnovers this year. Together, these two have made life hard for quarterbacks, and Herbert felt that pressure. He had no room to work with in this game. The one bright spot for the Chargers was rookie Ladd McConkey. He had an insane performance with 197 yards and a touchdown on 9 catches in his first playoff game. That's a rookie record, and it deserves some serious applause. But outside of McConkey, nobody else showed up. Herbert threw for a total of 242 yards, and when you subtract McConkey's 197, the rest of the team managed barely anything. The Texans didn't just dominate through the air, they also shut down the Chargers' run game. The team ran 18 times for only 50 yards. That's just not going to cut it against a defense like Houston's. The Texans' pass rush was relentless too. They sacked Herbert 4 times, and that pressure led to some of those interceptions. If Herbert had more time in the pocket, maybe things would have been different. By the fourth quarter, the game was still within reach. It was 13-6 with about 5 minutes left. Then the Texans sealed it with a pick six to make it 26. Later, a dropped pass by Will Dissly led to another interception, and the Texans added a field goal to go up 23-6. McConkey managed to score an 86-yard touchdown, but it was too late by then. The Texans finished this game strong, but it wasn't without some hiccups. After an impressive Joe Mixon run, the extra point got blocked, leaving the score at 25-2. Eventually, the game ended 32-2. Joe Mixon had a quiet game at first, but completely exploded in the fourth quarter, finishing with 106 rushing yards. C.J. Stroud, on the other hand, had 282 passing yards, though he started the game slowly. By the end, though, Stroud delivered one of his best performances of the year. If the Texans can continue to play like this, dominating on defense while getting strong contributions from Mixon and Stroud, they could realistically take down a team like the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs are a powerhouse, no doubt. Their defense is strong, but their offense has its weak spots. The offensive line might struggle against the Texans' dangerous defensive front. And while the Chiefs have playmakers like Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and of course Travis Kelce, Kelce hasn't been his usual unstoppable self this season. He finished the regular season with just 823 receiving yards, which is low by his standards. Sure, he could turn it up in the playoffs, but the Texans' defense is no joke. They're playing at an elite level and are incredibly well coached. Special teams also stood out for the Texans in this game. Their overall performance gives you confidence that they could win even in a tough place like Arrowhead. It won't be easy, though. If the Texans beat the Chiefs, they'd still have to face another top-tier team, either the Ravens, Bills, Lions, Eagles, Commanders, or Rams. The road to the championship is tough, but the Texans are firing on all cylinders right now. They look like a team that believes they can beat anyone. Looking back, I was wrong about the Texans. I thought the Chargers would win this game. I knew it would be close, but I underestimated just how good this Texans team could be. Stroud, in particular, was outstanding. Coming into this game, he'd been struggling based on both the stats and the film, but he proved me wrong with his performance. I'll be breaking down Stroud's game film in a video coming out soon, probably tomorrow if I'm being honest. Stay tuned for that, because this game showed just how dangerous the Texans can be when everything is clicking. So, here's the deal. I live in Houston, but I'm a Colts fan. If you didn't know that, now you do. Making a video about a division rival like the Texans isn't exactly my favorite thing, but credit where it's due. The Texans are becoming the kind of team I wish the Colts could be. Think about it. The Texans have now won 2 playoff games over the last 2 seasons. Meanwhile, the Colts' last playoff win was in 2018. That's 8 years ago. 8. In that time, the Texans have not only reached the playoffs, but are proving they can win there. And who knows, if they beat the Chiefs, that number could grow. What makes the Texans so impressive? It starts with their culture. DeMeco Ryans has built one of the best cultures in football. That's where success begins. Then, of course, you need a quarterback, and C.J. Stroud is proving he's more than capable of leading this team. Add to that an elite pass rush, and you've got a winning formula. The Texans' pass rush, led by Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter, is outstanding. Anderson might have finished just shy of double-digit sacks, 9.5 I think, but I'm counting it anyway because he's that good. How do you even stop these guys? Their secondary is just as impressive. Derek Stingley Jr. has been incredible, and the rest of the defensive backs have stepped up big time. This team has everything it could have hoped for when the season started. Elite players stepping up, a strong culture, and a belief that they can compete with anyone. The Texans face the Chiefs this Saturday, and that's going to be a fun one. I might even throw some bets on that game. Let me know your picks in the comments. Honestly, I still can't believe I underestimated this Texans team. I wasn't as bold as Rex Ryan, calling them a bye week. Seriously, what was that about? But I did think the Chargers matched up well against them. I mean, the Chargers had the NFL's top-scoring defense, so it felt like a good matchup on paper. But the Texans have proved they're much more than just a good defense. They're a team on the rise, and they're showing it when it matters most. Justin Herbert has been playing at an elite level this season. Maybe he's not quite on the level of Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, or Joe Burrow, but in my opinion, he's been better than almost anyone else out there. Yet, even with Herbert playing well, it didn't matter. The Texans were just too much to handle. This Texans team looked downright scary. They completely erupted in the second half, outscoring the Chargers 22-6 and securing a huge win. But for the Texans, this victory is just a step forward. The job isn't finished yet. There's still unfinished business ahead. Now looking at their next matchup against the Chiefs, I'm torn. Who do I even root for? On one hand, the Texans are a rising force. On the other, the Chiefs are the established champions. Honestly, it feels like a lose-lose situation for me. But hey, somebody's got to win, right?